Okay, so I got the ABS rings, the studs, the bearings, and the lock rings all pressed onto the new axles, ready to go. That's the good news. The bad news.
Bad news?
I'm an idiot and didn't do enough research, and this Gladiator axles, every single bracket is different than on the Wrangler. I thought they were the same because they're both 4-link. Apparently they're not. I'm sure some of you guys at least are knowing that and probably have known that since I started this project. I, however, did not. I thought Gladiator, Wrangler, they probably use all the same pickup points. Not at all. So that really sucks. I got to cut off everything: bump stop pads, track bar bracket, coil buckets, 4-link mounts, the whole works, even the e-brake cable holder tabs. Everything's got to be cut off and new brackets welded on. Yes, I know I could have just done 1-tons. I know very well at this point, but it's what's got to be done. So that's what I'm doing. So you see where the 4-link mounts are on that versus the old axle. There is more separation, and they're kind of straight up and down with the center of the axle tube. And then the coil bucket is pushed forward and moved in, so they're not even the same distance apart on the axle like that. Bump stop pads are totally different location. Everything, every single thing.
Every damn one of them!
Good thing I just got that plasma cutter, but this sucks. My back is sore, but I got all brackets cut off. I still got to do a bunch of grinding, cleanup work, but all brackets are officially cut off. I was able to save the e-brake cable bracket, or one of them, I should say. It goes like right there somewhere. I did ruin the other one, but we still got the other axle. We can cut it off, and I think I could make that one pretty easy. I did buy a Hobo Freight 7-inch grinder, so hopefully that makes short work of getting this thing cleaned up. So we got this axle ready to go. The old axle's sitting here, and we have all of our brackets here from Barnes 4-wheel drive. Well, I should say we have most of our brackets. We have the coil spring bucket, we have lower control arm brackets, upper control arm brackets, and track bar bracket. We do not have, because they don't have them on their website to buy, our bump stop pads. So I don't know, I might have to cut them off this axle. And we don't have the e-brake tabs. I have one because I was successful in cutting it off, that one. But the other one I was unsuccessful. It kind of got destroyed in the removal. So we put these caps together with this nut. This is going to be it'll be eventually a threaded insert once it's upside down that you couldn't get to if it was just a nut. So we're going to weld this on here. Once you got that done, leave the bolt in. Just make sure you're able to turn it. That way you don't get any pieces of slag inside the threads. And assemble this little hexagon thing here. I guess it's, I don't know what a 6-sided, the 5-sided pentagon. This is 6-sided, whatever. Weld this thing together, and then once it's welded together, you're gonna drop it in here. Or set it in here, just so it's sticking up like that. Weld it together. I've already found a flaw here. Let me show you. So this thing is supposed to be the support that goes under there. And you can see it's radiused right there for the axle. And it's got one big tab and one small tab. So you'd think going under these, and it's not particular to left and right, they're both the same exact part number and everything. You'd think it would work, but as you can see, the big tab's on that side, small tab's on that side, and vice versa. What I assume happened is this piece comes out cut but flat, and then it goes to a bender, and I believe they bent it inverted. Because if you flip this over, let's see, like that, and notches in there perfect. But obviously it needs to be on the other side, so it's backwards. Not a big deal. I just gotta make that little knot or that little bump out a little smaller, and then it'll work fine. Now it's just time to weld it out. I think I'm gonna wait until I'm ready to set this on the axle, to throw this on there, tack it on the axle, set that on there, weld it to that. There is my spring pads all assembled. They're not the best welds I've ever done, but they'll definitely hold. They're plenty strong, plenty of penetration. All right, we are now to the part that's a little bit unknown to me. I've never actually built an axle out from just a bare housing, which is what we got going on here. So placing all the mounts is a little bit tricky to me. I think I've got a pretty good idea on how to do it. I got the pinion at 0 with my little angle finder here, magnetic little angle finder. Got this one at 0, and then I'm measuring like the degree on this bracket versus that one. But some of the brackets are quite a bit different shape, so I gotta figure out a way to do it. I think I'm gonna measure off the back side of this bracket, which looks to be pretty true to where that is. And then I still got to cut off these. It's going to be a pain. I don't really feel like doing it, but I gotta. And then, you know, measure these and measure from center. I got my center line here. Measure center out to see where the brackets land. So it's going to be a little bit of a process. I think I'll get as much as I can done. So I think I'll do the upper, the lower, and then I got to get this e-brake cable bracket off before I can put this spring pad on. So if you're thinking that doesn't look right, I agree with you. It looks like those two holes are raked back too far compared to the pinion. But then I looked at this one. I got everything cut off this axle. I had to destroy it to get the e-brake cable bracket off there, but I got both bump stop pads off. And just the nature of a plasma, when you cut something off and cut through the weld, it leaves a pretty decent sized gap, which isn't such a bad thing. And let me show you why. I'm gonna smooth out those radiuses where it meets the axle. And then this big giant gap in the front, I'm gonna add a little strip of metal to go back to the axle. So basically, it'll move this bump stop pad forward like a ½ inch or maybe a little more, which is a good thing because as you move the axle back on a JL, and then as it swings up, the pad will actually contact this bolt. So if it's forward just a little bit, it should clear that bolt. I know I can't go a ton, but every little bit counts when you're a two-door guy.
Every little bit helps.
So apparently the control arm bolts don't fit through the barn's brackets. So out it comes, and I gotta drill those out. Man, this is tough without help. Anything's a hammer that's close by. Okay. Can't wait to cycle the suspension to see if I can actually get away with this much. I've moved the axle back 1.5 inches, I think, or maybe 1.25 inches, but I do worry about track bar contacting the diff. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes, because if the springs don't get weird as it goes up, I would be willing to cut off this track bar mount and move it back. If I've done this much, why not? I got all the bolts in, or at least started. All the mounts are just tack welded. I'm gonna see, I might be screwing myself here, but I'm gonna see if I can cycle the suspension without breaking tack welds. Oh, something hit. I heard it. Oh, the exhaust. We're pushed back a little over 1 inch on the control arms compared to what they ask you to put it at. We are very close on a lot of stuff. Like, this would never work if I was running a sway bar. We are touching the exhaust. Ignore my crappy welds. That was my first time welding exhaust. But we are touching there. But I can lower that track bar to that hole, and then I don't think it would hit, but it might be hitting at the diff. You see how close it is there. So, but also we don't have our bump stop pads on here or any bump stop extension, which I assume we're going to need to run. I'm going to collapse these shocks and see which hole I can get away with. The 2 inches higher, or 2 inches, or stock, I should say, or 2 inches higher. If I can get away with the 2 inches higher, then I'm cutting this off right here and gaining some ground clearance right there. After doing a little bit of reading on Clayton's website, I realized I had the track bar on backwards. It's got that hump in it. Well, that's supposed to go down, but when you read the instructions, it says put the hump up so it goes over the differential. They're talking about that bend right there, not that. So flipping it around, I thought it looked a little off, and yep, I was right that I was wrong. So now it doesn't come anywhere near the exhaust. Plenty of clearance on the diff, and I am as far as I would ever want to go, because, you know, I don't think it could go any further once I put the bump stop pad on there anyway. And just a roundabout measurement here, looking at kind of center of axle and then 20 inches out, I think I will be good to go with a 40 right there with the cutting I did, which means I may not even have to run the little bump stop block, and I might be able to retain full travel. But at that point, then I gotta put the shock at the lower point rather than the upper. But I need to put the springs in to see how far down until the springs go free. And as I was cycling suspension, I broke a couple tack welds. So I think I can weld this thing out, which is very exciting. You can only weld until you run out of gas. So I think we're done for the night. Dang it. welding is complete. I threw a quick, crappy paint job on this just to continue moving along. I will have to strip off the paint once I figure out exactly where I'm gonna put the shock mount. I think I gotta do it in the lower section, which means I don't gain ground clearance like I was hoping to, but that's okay. And I'm starting to put axles in. We have an almost complete axle. Tighten these babies down, suck the seals in, brake calipers and rotors on there. Here's something kind of crazy. So, mineral spirits, this paint job's 20 minutes old, maybe 15. And remember how much effort I put into all the other stuff that I painted that just, you could literally scratch it off with your fingernail. It was a lot of work getting this brand new paint off of this because I've done some measurements and I've decided I'm gonna weld the shock mounts on. So I'm gonna do that, but it's just crazy to me that this zero effort, no primer, no self-etching primer, no sanding, just spray paint on it and go. Paint had a hard time coming off. Same paint, by the way. When I did all that work on the other stuff and it would just come right off. I think paint, you either just get lucky or you don't. I don't know.
I'm on fire.
That was a little scary. I felt the warmth where it shouldn't have been coming from. There's the lower control arms from Barnes, came with these lower control arm skids. I didn't see them till now, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw those in. We have finally got to brake time. These kind of brakes. Not like I'm taking a break. If you're Jeep people, you already know this, but if you're not, maybe you don't. Maybe you're like a YJ guy or a TJ guy, which I respect that. These brakes are very sought after, and they're hard to get right now because everybody wants them for their Wranglers because they're the Gladiator Rubicon big brake kit. So I obviously happen to have them. So that's cool. They should be a big brake upgrade. This rear end was about to go in the Jeep, but there were some problems. So these lower control arm skids, the joint is big enough to where it makes contact with this before you can actually get the bolt in. So we got to cut this thing down a little bit, which is going to be kind of a pain, but I'm going to see what I can do here. Probably going to grind out a little more. Let me show you how I'm doing it. Thank God for this tool, because if I didn't have this tool, it wouldn't have worked. Good old finger sander. Oh yeah, clears by quite a bit now.